The Houston Cougars are coming off of an incredible season, a team that was 4-8 in the first year under Willie Fritz, and now they're coming off of a 10-win season and a bowl victory. Now, the next step up, in my opinion, is that they are the biggest sleepers that people may not be paying attention to in the Big 12. I have them early on as a Big 12 championship contender in the 2026 season. This is the second of our sleeper series. We talked about Iowa already. Now it's time to talk about the Houston Cougars in 2026. Welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lucas Hill here of the Southern Sports Scene. Everybody do us a favor. Y'all hit the like, share, and subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell notifications so that you are notified every time we go live. Posted a video or post a new short here on the Southern Sports Scene. Every live show, video, and short is brought to you by our good friends at Frost Buddy. Going over to frostbuddy.com, use that promo code SSS15 to get 15% off of your first purchase. That is code SSS15 to get 15% off of your first purchase. Also, thank you to our friends at Chike Nutrition. With 20 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar, and 1 gram of fat, you can get the best possible start to your day. And with 20 grams of protein, 1 gram of fat, 1 gram of sugar, the best start to your day always starts with our friends at Chike Nutrition. Click the link below to get yourself 10% off of your first purchase. All right. I got a lot to talk about with the Houston Cougars and why I think that they are a sleeper in the Big 12. The news about Brennan Sorsby opens the door wide open for the Big 12. Many people are going to look at them and say, well, BYU's got two of their best offensive weapons coming back in L.J. Martin and Bear Bachmeier. They should be the clear front runner. Not so fast. Because here comes Houston with a returning quarterback in Connor Wigman, who's coming off of an incredible season. A guy that was kind of thrown to the side, struggled with injury in his 3 years at Texas A&M, finally gets some chances, struggles early on, gets replaced by Marcel Reed, and the rest was history from there. Now you got him into a Schlegel offense, and what does he do? I think it was very important for a team like Houston to go get Austin Armstrong as your defensive coordinator and then get Slade Nagel as your OC. I think that created a perfect blend between with what Willie Fritz's offenses wanted to look like. And really, it was hard. It's hard to find a replacement for a guy like Shell Wood, who's doing an incredible job over at Texas Tech right now. There's a reason why he's one of the best defensive coordinators in the conference. But for Houston to go into 2025 with all that they lost on the defensive side of the ball, I thought that that was a team that early on, I think they could have gotten to that 7-win mark. I didn't expect a 10-win season at all from Houston. The way that they started off the year was absolutely awesome. I don't know if anybody would have expected them to start the way that they did. And after that Arizona State win, I think that's when people really started to look at this team and say, hey, man, this team could be really, really dangerous in the near future. But how do they respond off of the highest of highs and then the lowest of, or really the highest of highs when it comes to the season? Big win over a then-ranked Arizona State team on the road. You lose kind of an embarrassing fashion where your defense didn't play up to the standard at points in the season, gave up a lot of offense against a good West Virginia offense that loves to run the football a lot. The thing about that is that you need consistency. And I think you were able to get that at points during the season. You're still able to maintain a top 50 defense. That's why I think that expectations aren't going to change for Houston in 2026. That's why I have them as a sleeper team to be dangerous in the Big 12. Finished 6-3 last year in the Big 12. I think there's a game or two in there where, let's say an upset happens where Houston's able to handle business. They go to Lubbock, where you don't know what the health of Will Hammond looks like. You don't know what's going to happen with Brennan Sorsby. Texas Tech's going to be on their third string quarterback, all likelihood. Who's to say they don't come out of that game with a big win? Who's to say that doesn't happen? And then you look at the rest of the schedule for Houston, and it's pretty favorable, to be honest with you. Home against Oklahoma State, you go to Utah, and that's really it. That's really it. I'm sure there's a trap game whenever you go to West Virginia, but I don't think that this Houston team is going to slip up the rest of the way. I think if you're able to beat Texas Tech, if you're able to handle business against Oklahoma State, you should be in the driver's seat for that other spot in the Big 12 championship. That's why I solely believe that Houston is the most dangerous team in college football right now, with the amount of talent that they have on the offensive side of the ball and how expectations should not change when it comes to defense. We talked about Wigman already. How about his running back in Mekhi Hughes? Remember him? Wasn't too long ago, we were talking about him being one of the most impactful transfers coming from Tulane. Ends up at Oregon, gets lost in the mix. What does he do? Decides to come back, reunite with Willie Fritz. Guys, this guy was running for over 2,700 yards and averaged over 5 yards a carry in his 2 seasons at Tulane. He's a dang good running back. When you look at the rest of the offense for Houston, they went out into the portal and they got some guys. Trent Walker from Oregon State is going to play a big role. A near 1,000-yard receiver whenever he was at Oregon for 2 seasons. A guy that's going to go down the field and make big plays. Muiz Tonkara, the Florida transfer, is going to get an opportunity to get some reps as well. In the slot, there is no other receiver that is better than Amar Thomas. He's going to be the number one guy. I think that this is a very balanced Houston Cougar offense that is going to continue to put up amazing statistics. They're going to put up great stats throughout the season. This is a very well-balanced, oiled machine. And guess what? They got a back that is going to probably be more than just a running back. Mekhi Hughes is a guy that gets out of the backfield. He's a receiving running back, which is typically expected of the majority of running backs nowadays. He's going to be a guy. And what's so good about this receiving core and with this offense in general is that there's so many weapons that Connor Wigman can throw the football to that it's very hard for defenses to kind of adjust because there's always another guy. The big question for them is, how do you replace a guy like Tanner Kozoil? It's hard. And I talked to Tanner whenever he was at Senior Bowl. I really, really like talking to him. Good kid. Really, really good kid. Guess what? They got a guy in Patrick Overmeyer. And let me just tell you, guy started off as a quarterback in 2022, made the transition from quarterback whenever he was at Kingwood Park, ended up transitioning to tight end throughout the rest of his career there. He is going to be a big target. He's not going to be exactly what Tanner Kozoil is, but you get him in the red zone, you get him on the opposite side of the 50, I guarantee you the number one guy on majority of the drives is going to be the tight end position. That's what Houston prides themselves on. It's what they prided themselves on majority of the season. You also got a guy like Drew Terrell, who was one of the best run blockers in the entire MAC this past season, coming from Miami of Ohio. And now you add him to the depth. You get him in a different package. You go to 12 personnel, probably heavy. You get him in the backfield as a blocking tight end. He's going to be able to pave a path for Mekhi Hughes to run right behind him. That's going to be a huge, huge advantage for a lot of teams. You also bring in Drew Terrell. Excuse me. I mentioned Drew Terrell as a tight end. Drew Terrell is a right tackle. Again, one of the best right tackles this past offseason. A guy that is going to be really, really solid throughout the season. Shadray Hurst, like we've mentioned a little bit, if you watch our live shows, one of the top of guards in the transfer portal coming in from Tulane, two-time American, very physical on pulls, and he's going to get out in space, and he's quick for a guy like 300 pounds. At left tackle, last year, it's going to be Alvin Iboselli. He's a returning offensive lineman, a guy that started 13 games this past year, did not allow a sack at all. 6'6", 312 pounds. He's going to have an opportunity to get himself into being an NFL offensive lineman, and he has all the potential in the world to do that. When you look at the defensive side of the ball for Houston, there's a lot of guys that they got from the portal that I really like. Ashton Porter coming off the edge, started to get some playing time this past year from Oregon. He's a big dude, 6'3", 290 pounds. He's going to be a force in the middle. He looks much better than he did whenever he was at Oregon. Looks like he shredded a couple pounds. He looks incredible. He's going to play both sides. As a two-gap player, probably going to end up playing a 3 and a 5 at times, depending on what Austin Armstrong wants to do with his defensive tackles. He's going to have a chance to shine. Plenty of experience on the defensive side of the ball for him. And so you get a guy like that back in Houston, he's going to be more of a hybrid defensive lineman, man. And he's going to be really, really damn good. When you look at Kentrell Webb, one of the things that a lot of people mentioned was the DB, Kentrell Webb, who came from Tulane for a couple years, had 51 tackles this past year and a pick. Somebody that needed to step up in the secondary as a leader, it was going to be Kentrell Webb. Guy that has seen it all, makes him easy to rely on for the rest of the group. He could be one of the best secondary players in the Big 12 this past year. The cornerback room is really good. Jalen Mayo and Javion White, who are going to be really good. They're going to play big roles on the other side. Will James is a reestablished guy that's going to play really well this year. I think he's going to have some time that, look, man, guy that was an all Big 12 this past year. I don't know if they're going to throw his way as much as teams did this past year because it didn't go well for him. Led the team in interceptions, forced turnovers. He is one of the best DBs in the Big 12, and eventually he will make his name known in the NFL draft space. He can be an NFL corner. And I think he can stand against the Big 12's best receivers. Will the momentum continue? I believe so. That's why I have Houston as a sleeper to make the college football playoff. And to be honest with you, when we get word on the Brendan Sorsby situation, that could change the dynamic of what I really think about Houston. Because if Sorsby's out for the entire year, maybe not even the entire year, if he's out the first 3 games, the edge has got to go to the Houston Cougars as the other team to get into the Big 12 championship game and even a college football playoff. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What do you guys think about Houston? Am I right? Am I wrong? Give me your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you leave a like, leave a share, but click that share button and subscribe as well, and turn on the bell notification so that you are notified every time we go live, posting a video or posting a short here on the Southern Sports Fan. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, stay blessed. Don't stress. Y'all have a good week.